Hello everybody, welcome back to Gelvin Valley for Farming Simulator 15, made by Wild Wild West. Hey, we've just completed hauling straw bales post-harvest, and we actually have some positive cash flow here. And so I was just looking here at our finances. I know I wanted to keep track of the bale revenue and everything. And then I remembered there is a handy-dandy income statement, if you will, for the day. And this is, it's going to have some costs in here that we didn't incur related to bales. But the wage, I think, was for harvest. I think we finished the harvest today, and then we baled, and then we picked up the bales. So not this cost. We probably had some cost here, a little bit of vehicle running cost, and new vehicles. I'm pretty sure this is all rent cost. So some of this now is going to be of the baler, some of it's for the trailer. So pretty much all the cost here, except for a tiny part maybe related to the header on the combine. Most of this is going to be related to rental of the equipment that we use to bale, make the bales, and to pick them up. Also, much of the running costs here. So maybe if you save 6,000, this is 5, it's going to be 6,400. So maybe 6 of it we'll say is related to the baling activity. Then I would have to say most of all the income that we see, except for, if you'll recall, we sold the combine, and I think that was 15 to 17 grand that we got. So I think that was the only other income. We've sold no crops, and I remember last episode I was contemplating or thinking it was approximately 100 grand, that we got for the sale of bales. So if you exclude this income, if you exclude the wages, sale of combine, wages was for hiring of the combine, and this is 6 grand of cost, what you're left with is about 100 minus 6. So basically 94,000-ish is what we cleared by baling all the straw. Now, I don't know. To me, that's plenty enough reason to take the time to do the bales. Now, maybe someone else's finances, they wouldn't take time to do it, or that isn't enough. And I certainly agree there might be better purposes for the straw, say if we were to use them with the animals or whatnot. But right now, to know that I've cleared 94,000, knocking on the door of 100 just in the straw alone. And of course, that doesn't even count all the barley that we have in storage. Of course, we have to wait for the price to come back up to fully obtain the value, that we have into it. Or we could sell it now. I think over here at, which one is the Pheasant Pluckers? It is over 200. We'd have to sell it pretty lickety-split in order to get all that, because it's time-based and it's based on how much you sell. So I don't think we'd get 207 per metric ton for all of it, but we would for some. But this is where the majority of our money is sitting, and yeah, so it's just refreshing to get 100,000 for all the bales that we did. Oh, and let me go back in there. I guess some of it isn't on the straw. I would have to acknowledge that. I think about 3,700, or call it 4,000, is related to those grass bales, that we mowed or made way up on top by the radio tower in the northwest corner of the map. But hey, it's kind of the same thing. We went up there, we cut hay, we made bales. So it's all kind of one and the same in my mind, although the cost for making those bales landed on a different day. Still, 90-some thousand, nothing to sneeze at, and so I think what I'd like to do is, and I searched the orchard, or excuse me, the orchard. I searched the map just a little bit, and I wanted to find an area to plant an orchard and get some trees going, so that we have an alternative source of income. And you'll notice here, I rented. It's 5 in the evening here. I rented a small plow. And the reason is I want to try to put an orchard in straight lines. So I'm going to head up to where I think I saw the place to put an orchard. It's just kind of a flat area for some placeables. It's a dirt area, so it's an area where you would expect to see an orchard if anyone was planted on this map, if you didn't own the field, that is. That is one kind of little conundrum of farming sim, when you have an area for placeables, and, Wes has been generous in making the map. He's put a number of areas for placeables, including one dead ahead right up top of the area. You can put a placeable area in. When that's land you don't have to buy, but you can do something on, that's kind of an unaccounted for cost. Because I don't know that it would let me put trees, just on fields that I don't own. Maybe it would. I guess I really don't know. Kind of going by the hog area, I think. Yeah, that's for pork. But here it is, and maybe Wes intended this kind of as another construction site. He's got a home here kind of under construction, and there's a field in behind, but then there's this nice area here where I think we could put in ourselves an orchard. So I kind of wanted to, there's a teeny tiny little orchard here. Let me get rid of the offset. I just wanted a narrow line that I could put in, and you know what does he have? He has multi-angle terrain, so this is going to be a little ticklish to put in. Let me just come up here. I want to make a couple lines. It'd be nice if they were perpendicular. I want to try to fit as many trees in here as I can. And I think the trees, by the way, I believe they are 1,500 a whack. So let me go over to placeables. Yeah, there's also some, but I could put in some placeable greenhouses. They aren't too expensive. Could put in several, but I could probably handle the water, but I gotta find some manure. I know I could get my hands on the water, but I don't know that I'd get manure until after I have animals. So I'm kind of turning to some trees. Apple, pears, and there's a kiosk you can sell it at. Cherry trees, plum trees. I'll probably just put in good old apples here, but they're 1,500 a piece. So yeah. So I want to put in as many as I can. I got $6,800 to spend. Spending probably like, let me see here. Okay, so I don't know just how to go about this. Let me put down, I don't want to limit to, well, let me just put her down. I'm going to zoom in. Yeah, there I can see it. So, actually, I think, you know what? I'm going to need to move this over a little bit. How do I move? That's free lanes, work with, offset. I know there's a way, shift course to the right. There we go. Alright, so maybe, probably need to go a little bit to the left. Let me just put the plow in the ground. Okay, so that's kind of, yeah, that's pretty good where it is. Oops. So that'll, let me just stretch a line here. This, I figure, is going to give me a line that I can plant some trees into. And I did this one other time, and I don't remember the exact measurements, as to just how far apart, I need to have the lines. So that's part of what I need to figure out in terms of how far or how closely or how far, I can space these trees. So let me turn that off, and I'm gonna hop out, and we're gonna plant some trees here. So I kind of took it off here just to get over to the edge. So I want to be as close as possible. Let's do this. All right. So we'll come over here to our mod placeables, grab an apple tree. Well, I gotta say, I kind of prefer pears to apples. Now, can I turn this guy? I can't. Enter WASD. No, it's not. I maybe should have strung it this direction. I thought there was a way to move, but I don't know that there is. So I kind of need to, let me just put one there. Yeah, at some point it isn't going to let me put it in. I have no idea if I'm getting it right on the line. Boom, I'll put one there. And one here. And this will be the fourth. I gotta make sure I have enough room to get my equipment down there. And then a fifth. Yeah. Okay. That is 5 trees we just put in. And oh, shucks. Oh, here we go. I just got to get on the right line. You know what? It isn't entirely off the line, but it's fairly close. That ain't too bad, is it? So, yeah. So now what I think I'm going to do, let me hop in my tractor, get up here, get a different perspective. And let me turn this off for the moment. I want to face these and see what kind of a grid I have. Yeah, some of them are a little closer to each other than the others. So let me just try to do, basically it's 5 wide. And so if I turn this on again, let me try to get the middle point to go through the tree. Okay, now let me widen this out. I want to work with, let me just try to put this right in the middle. Does that look about right? That's kind of in the middle, isn't it? So that'll give me kind of my lines. Okay, that isn't dead on, but that one's dead on. Here, that one's pretty well dead on. That one's in the middle. So it's really only the, 4 out of 5 ain't bad. 4 out of 5 make good center. So the first 4 trees are pretty good. So maybe the only one I'd need to redo would be the one clear on the right here. So I just want to kind of make a grid, and let me get over here. This is going to kind of be a little painful, but how would you guys, has anybody here ever set up an orchard themselves? And if so, how did you go about it? Was there any method to the madness, or did you just try to randomly place a tree? Kind of curious. I think I'm on the center, so let me go. Just take this nifty little plow and make ourselves a sort of grid. Only let you do it at 4 miles an hour. I've rented this plow, this teeny tiny plow I probably could easily afford. But as you've seen, I tend not to use a plow very often. So, what am I driving through? Alright, let me lift the plow, and I'll come back here for my next line. And I wish, and I know there's probably a way to do it, that when I'm planting trees, you know, that I could turn and look at things kind of from a different angle. Is that getting the... close enough, I guess. Down goes the plow. Now the next line. And ultimately, these trees, as I understand it, you know, will have fruit, and you drive a trailer underneath them or a truck of some kind to gather the fruit, and then you can take it to some place to sell it. So that's kind of what the goal is here. So I got to leave enough room to maneuver a little bit of machinery, you know, under the trees. So I want to make sure I do justice to that. Back up to this one here. Folks, we're putting in an orchard. Let it not be said that we haven't attempted to diversify ourselves in Gelvin Valley at long last. Oop, I think it's trying to put that down. Here we go. Third vine. Then, of course, you know, when I get done with this, I'm going to need to do a crisscross pattern of sorts. So I know kind of, maybe I just wing it. I don't know. I can maybe try to place them out ahead, and as long as I have them on the row, and I put them as close as I can, each one, you know, then presumably it'll be close. But I know one other time when I did this, I think that time I used a cultivator to put in the lines. I think I genuinely did ooh, that's kind of bumpy in there. I did a square by square grid, because somehow I figured out how much space, you know, was needed between each tree, you know, so I could plumb it in just so. And I think I had more tools available, or more, probably if I went into the input bindings, I could fix it so that I'd be able to turn the camera any way, you know, we wished. And right now it's just giving me only one frame of reference. So we will get, and you know, I could put a kiosk right next door so I don't have a ton of running around, and maybe there'd be enough traffic here, kind of in the country, have a country store and atmosphere, and sell the apples at that. The only thing is, it'd be nice to have it maybe a little more centrally located in case we establish any other orchards. You know what? That's close enough. I was thinking I would try to move it a little bit, but I don't know that I need to. I'll maybe just plumb this line in as well. It's going to kind of be outside of the dirt area. Move back up to the tree. Okay. Drop the plow. Plow always gets stuck on the tree. We're kind of going by a bush here. We'll get this particular line in. And yeah, it might be, this might be all we need to do to kind of put in a guideline for where we'll put the trees. Now I realize I'm kind of going up a little bit here, but I think it'll still work. All we need to do is drive underneath the one side of the tree, as I understand it. So, okay, that's as far as I'm gonna go. Let me turn that off for the moment, and I'll take it over here and park. Maybe I'll park it on this lot over here. It doesn't look like much construction is taking place. So I'll hop out here and let's head back in to purchase some trees. Whoops, too far. All right, apple trees. Okay. Now, if I had a grid, I'd know approximately where to place them. But like I say, I think I'm just going to try to center it on the line as best I can. So, and as close as I can. Let me try to put that one in. Placing trees. Boom. And another. 5 across. Alright, next line. Actually, let me place this one first. Try to get somewhat close. Put one here, and I think each line, what is this, 7,500 a piece? One there. So I'm gonna go through my money pretty quick just planting this here orchard, and I'm gonna need to sell some other crop, you know, if I want cash on hand, either to do another real estate deal, and probably I should have checked to see kind of where my debt load is. I know I incurred debt to purchase some fields previously, so I probably should have checked that first, but I didn't. I'm doing an impulse decision here in planting this orchard, trying my best to plant it somewhat on a grid using these lines, these plow lines that I put in, to try to keep things straight. I don't know, maybe someone will quibble in the comments over how poor of a job I'm doing. Alright, here's a grid of 5 by 4. Pretty soon we'll have a grid of 5 by 5. Got a running total up there of how much money we got left. Let me try to keep it centered. Boom. I'll be curious to see how many of the trunks end up, you know, kind of right in the trail, right in the sweet spot of where these should go. Gonna put it about there. And hopefully there's still decent performance. You know, this particular mod, I seem to recall, is the engine of it is the UPK mod, Universal Process Kit, I think it was called. It's kind of a type of factory mod, if I recall right. You know, and there's all sorts of mods that were built around it, where factories would produce something based on a number of inputs, you know, that were fed to it. Okay, that can go there. It almost looks like I'm interfering with another tree, but that's all right. I think our trees will thrive just fine. Here's one, here's another. Okay, we're down to 23 grand. We have an orchard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 5. Looks like we can maybe plant one more row. I'm gonna put this one here. Don't know if we can jam in another. You know, almost can't be placed here. Almost seems like there was a pixel somewhere, somewhere in there where we could. Show it to me again. Yeah. Okay, we're not going to be able to. I don't think. There would be a mod, maybe. I forget what it's called. Place Anywhere mod, where I think it would let us put it in there. So we'll just try to finish this out as best we can. And we're missing one tree, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Almost a 5 by 7. And oh, here I can zoom in a little bit. Well, that's kind of handy. But yeah, I don't know that it's gonna let us plant one more tree. Well, maybe it would. Hold on, have I found the pixel? Boom, I'm gonna put it in. It's probably not quite, and look at that, we still have 15,000 left. Oh, we're over here at this house. Alright, now I'm kind of curious, how good of a job did I do? Terrible. But you know, it isn't too bad. Most of them are somewhat in a row. You know, I'll take it. I mean, I don't got much choice now at this point, now that they've been planted. But I didn't exactly land on the line, but the line did help focus my attention to where the tree should be planted. So we managed to boot heel one more in. It's kind of competing here with a little bit of the foliage, but we have a true 5 by 7 orchard of apples on a grid. So we could maybe plow the soil here to reduce it to dirt. I don't know that we'll need to do that. At the moment, you know, actually we're underneath it. So we see each tree, I believe. Yeah, here if you're under 2 trees, it shows you both. It tells you what percentage of the growth cycle it is. So if we come all the way back here. Okay, so none of the trees have entered another growth cycle. So it's going to take a little bit of time to generate apples, which it will do in good time. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to do. Oops, we are stuck in the foliage, and we got ourselves an orchard. So why don't I'm going to take the plow back. I will turn it in since I rented it. I have just a little bit of time to spare on it, so I'll get it back before I run out of time. But anyway, if you have used an orchard in the past, how did you put it in? And you know, this is Farm Sim 15, of course. You know, it had to be a placeable type tree in order to do this, or you know, the mapper would have had to build it into the map in order for trees to be there. There's a script that runs every single tree. I know I've seen some trees where you're required, or it works better if you fertilize the tree. Maybe even some you have to put it in there. You know, if you want to get any fruit at all, you have to water it and those kinds of things. I think, if I'm not mistaken, these particular trees, you don't have to do anything at all. You just harvest them when they have apples and haul them to market. So that's kind of the next thing I need to do after I send back the plow. Return vehicle. All right, now it's someone else's responsibility. I'm going to leave the tractor up here because I'm going to need some tillage equipment for the fall tillage. I'm going to hop out and... Oh, interesting. Can't load a resource. I wonder what that is. I wonder if that's something to do with the trees. I'm going to fly back to the orchard. We'll be there in just a moment. All right, we're back over here by our orchard, and we've talked to the people who own this lot over here, and they're very nice people, and they have said they don't mind at all if we set up a fruit stand to market our fruit. The only would that we would periodically let them browse the orchard and take whatever apples they need, and you know what? That sounds like a good deal to us. So while the home is still in construction, they have no problems if we just put the kiosk to sell right kind of in the middle of their driveway here. So let's see if we can place that. Here's a sell point. This is a kiosk. It says for apples. I may have adapted it also for pears. I don't recall. There was I've done some modding on this in the past to these trees. I mean, there was some errors. It may be that there's some other errors. I don't know what those are off the top of my head, but I'll maybe check that out at some point. But we know it'll sell apples. That's kind of what it's advertised. And so let me see if there's a way to, okay, this maybe, can I, oh, I wish this would turn. Okay, well maybe scrap that idea. If it has to be on this side of the road, maybe, let's see, there is an access road over here I gotta be careful for. You know, I suppose I could even put it alongside over here. Yeah, look at this. Rotate is nil-nil. I know I had some other keys in the past. I just don't remember what it was. And maybe right now, like I say, they just aren't on. Alright, so maybe we put it down over here just a little bit. Maybe just off the road so that people can stop by if they wish. For $1,500, we now have a kiosk and a place at which we can sell the apples. And if I recall correctly, the sales happen over time. I don't remember how many you can put in here. Oh shoot, we kind of put it in a bunch of weeds. Oh well, that's kind of the all-natural look. Anyway, now we got nothing to do but simply sit back and wait. So again, I don't know how long it'll take for the fruit to start coming out, but we will see it on the trees. We'll just need to remember to come up here periodically to check on it. And they obviously don't start you off with a full tree full of fruit. Anyway, we're running apples here now on good old Gelvin Valley. Have just a little under $15,000 in the bank. It's nice to have a little bit of money. It's also nice that you came to take the journey on this with me. Thank you for stopping by, and you have a wonderful day. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.